Hey, I'm Lady, and today I'm here to discuss my top 10 books of 2018. I said in a previous vlog that I had a hard time picking 10 books. I realized that most of the 100 books that I read in 2018 really just fell in like the 3-star mark. It wasn't nothing spectacular about them. So I just really had a hard time trying to come up with these 10. At first I was just gonna do 8 or 5, but then I got to really looking through the list and I found some that I really want to share with you all. So let's start with number 10 is Dreams of Africa in Alabama. I was prompted to read this book after reading Barracoon by Zora Neale Hurston. And when that book did not give me all the information that I was craving, I had to do a search, and that's when I found Dreams of Africa in Alabama. Excellent. If you are a fan of The Warmth of Other Suns, then you will love this. This author did all of the research. You got, information of these slaves. If you're not familiar with this story, it is about the recorded last slave ship to come to the port of Mobile 5 years before the emancipation. So these slaves they were stolen, many of them in their late teens, I believe, early 20s, stolen from their country, lived here in America for only 5 years as slaves before being emancipated. They formed what they called Africa Town in Mobile, and the story just goes from there. The last recorded was Cudjo Lewis, who passed away in, I want to say, the 1930s. And this book was excellent. You learned about the slave traders. You learned about the people's lives and what went on after they were emancipated, how they formed Africa Town, and even up to present day, some of those children who were born from those slaves. This was excellent. Like I said, if you the type to like The Warmth of Other Suns, then you should check out Dreams of Africa in Alabama. Number 9 is a graphic novel series. I don't think I've ever put a graphic novel series in my top list at the end of the year. So this is a first, and that is Arab of the Future. This is an excellent graphic memoir. I don't know how to exactly go into the detail of it. I just know I enjoy it immensely. And I can't wait till volume 4 comes out, whenever that is. I think it's already available in France. I think Dee from Brown Girl Reading has read it. And I think I've talked about it in several different reading vlogs while I was going through and reading the series. It's just excellent. You should definitely check it out. Number 8 is Things That Make White People Uncomfortable. This one is by Michael Bennett, who is an NFL player, and this book was excellent. He talks about so much. I would say it's kind of like a collection of essays, part memoir. He talks about his experience from Little League all the way up to NFL. He even, goes into personal life experiences outside of the NFL. And what I mostly took away from it, and what I think most people take away from it, is that title. Okay, and I think it was meant to grab attentions, and it was meant to make people pay attention, because of course all of these things that he talked about in the book don't make white people, but those who are not aware or don't recognize their privilege, or those who are indeed racist, these type of things would make people uncomfortable. If you're interested in hearing a little more detail about that one, I did give it its own book talk video, and I'll leave a link to that video in the description box below. Number 7 is Who Asked You by Terry McMillan. I listened to this one on audiobook, and that's how I would definitely recommend it, considering the main character It's read by Felicia Rashad, and Terry McMillan reads some of the characters' voices in the audiobook as well. This was excellent. This follows a grandmother who gets custody of her two grandsons, and she has another son that's in jail. She has a daughter who's the mother of the two boys who is out there in the streets on drugs and different things like that. And then she has another son that just really forgot his roots, forgot where he came from. He's that one in the family that's got money now and no longer knows what it's like to be from the hood. And it was a host of characters that you will not forget when reading this book. I mean, everybody is included. You know, it's kind of like the whole community thing with helping her raise these children. And let me not forget, while trying to raise these two grandchildren, she's also dealing with her husband who has dementia. So it's a lot going on in this book. It's excellent on audiobook, and I highly recommend it. Stuff is Unashamed. This one I also listened to on audiobook, and this is a memoir by Lecrae. If you are familiar with gospel music, then you'll already know who Lecrae is. He is a Christian hip-hop artist, even though in reading his memoir, he would say that he is a Christian who happens to rap. Okay, that's how he tends to put it, and that's his way of saying, you know, don't just box me in. People automatically expect a certain thing from his music because he's a Christian. And I loved his memoir. I loved his memoir. He is very transparent about the things that he's went through in his life, about how it was when he became a Christian and what he thought Christianity meant and all of those things. And it was really eye-opening. I would definitely recommend it to you know, some younger generation, so they can see, you know, you make mistakes, things happen, but you know, that's all a part of being a Christian and knowing that you have forgiveness and grace. The next book I finished was Roots by Alex Haley. This book was excellent. How many times I'm gonna say that? But it was so good. I talked about Roots and what I thought of it in my October reading wrap up, so I'll leave a link to that one below. Just know it's a classic for a reason. If you have not gotten a chance to read it, I listened to part of it, maybe like the last 200 pages I listened on audiobook, but it's like an 800-page book. It kept my attention. It is an important book. It's important American history. 4 is The Sun Does Shine by Anthony Ray Hinton. OMG. This book is about Anthony Ray Hinton, who spent 30 years on Alabama death row. His cell, his small cell right next door to the electric chair. While in prison, he had the experience of witnessing 57 men walk past his cell, never to walk back. And to make matters even worse, he was in jail on death row for a crime he did not commit. It could have been a very heartbreaking book. To think about it, that is pretty heartbreaking to know you have wasted, the system has wasted all those years of your life. But he was so positive. How can you remain positive in such situations? I don't know, but the way he said it, the sun does shine. And if you are familiar with this story, it was an Oprah book club. Pick it up. You won't be disappointed. Unfortunately, this is something that our system is still facing, and it has to be corrected some kind of way. It just has to. Number 3 is Whiskey and Ribbons by Lisa Cross Smith. This book gave me all the feels, and I think I read it around October as well. This is about a lady who, now the characters, as much as I love them, their names escape me right now, but the main character is dealing with the loss of her husband to violence. He was a police officer, and her grieving process and his family's grieving process, and the things that come away from this book is just amazing. It really dug deep into my emotions for some reason. I know some people thought the kind of plot or the storyline of the things that took place, which I won't give any spoilers, was some people didn't like it from my understanding from the reviews, some I've read. But even if you don't like the situation that the character got into, you cannot deny Lisa Cross Smith's writing. It was excellent. She is an awesome writer. This was a debut novel, and I can't wait to see what's next. Number 2 is Life is Short But Wide by J. California Cooper. If you have not had the pleasure of reading J. California Cooper, get your life, okay? This book was excellent. I knew going into it I would love it. I talk about it during my April wrap-up, so you can check out that video for more details. Just know this woman knows how to write a book. From the title to the pace of the book, everything just flowed perfectly, and it's one of those like family saga books that I am always here for. Coming in at number 1 is A Bailey's Cafe by Gloria Naylor. I talked about this book a lot in the Read So Lit video I did in February, so I'll link it below. I don't want to go into much detail about it, but it's a short story collection where all the characters are essentially connected by Bailey's Cafe. And that's all I'll say about it. The less you know when reading that book, the better, because you will be surprised. It is excellent, and I suggest reading that with Mama Day. That's also by Gloria Naylor. So that's it. My top 10 books for 2018. I'm on the search for more 4 and 5 star books this year, but I can't deny that all 10 of these books will definitely stay with me in some form or another, whether it was just the emotions, the writing of the author, the story, the things that make you think, you know, a lot of social injustices and things like that, which really came to a head in 2018. It's nothing new. So don't be confused by that. It just really came to a head in 2018. That's it, y'all. That's my top 10 books. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope I've encouraged you all, if you have not, to pick up one of these books, because you will not be disappointed. I promise you. I'm Lady, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.